my name is Zuzanna and I'm a harpist and harp teacher based in Edinburgh. It's really important today that you let you know, especially if you watch me on Facebook, whether you can hear and see me well. Let me just adjust that slightly. I hope it's all working, and I'm going to quickly check for your comments on my computer because I can't see the face screen today. We're doing all that to try to make sure that for those of you watching the lesson on Facebook, that you can see me with my left hand showing up as a left hand and right hand as right hand, meaning not in the mirror reflection, because a lot of you said that it's quite confusing when I'm talking about the left hand and it looks to you like it's actually my right hand. So I'm trying yet another technical trick to make it work, and I'll check in a second how does that show to you, just to make sure everything works well. And then I'm going to explain and tell a bit more about the topic of today's live harp lesson. So let me see how that is showing up on your screens. I hope it's fine, but if you can send me a comment, that will be extremely lovely as well. I think it all looks okay. I'll be looking every now and then back to my laptop if you're going to ask any comments or questions. The point of the live lessons is that you can tune in, you can tell me to speak more slowly or tell me to speak more loudly, which is always appreciated. You can ask questions about today's lesson, questions about any other topic that comes to your mind while I'm talking about something else in that lesson, and hopefully having something as close as possible to an online harp lesson that would inspire you for the next week of practice until we see each other again on Friday. So, checking every now and then on your comments, checking also what I'm going to say. So I think we're ready to go on today's topic. I'll be checking back and forth on your comments, and today we're going to talk about a piece from grade 2 syllabus for ABRSM exams, which is called Mountain Stream by Skyla Kanga. I know this piece is extremely popular among many of you. I see quite a few YouTube videos being posted of that piece, so I thought I'd create a short tutorial about learning that piece. If you liked my previous lesson on patterns, that was live harp lesson number 15, do check it out because we'll be talking about quite a few things that are related to the topic of patterns and how to make work easier and quicker by spotting patterns in the music and helping your mind and fingers learn things more quickly. What I'm going to do now is play the piece for you, because I suppose even just by hearing the piece, if you haven't known it before, you will pick up quite a few of the patterns that we will speak about later. So let me prepare my music, and I hope this will work alright for you. Just making sure that my music sound is not in the background, obstructing the view. And here is Mountain Stream by Skyla Kanga. That was Mountain Stream by Skyla Kanga, very appropriate for a rather wet day that we're experiencing here in Edinburgh. Let me know how you liked that piece and whether you were familiar with it or not. I'm just going to be checking on your comments. And let's move on to why this piece may be tricky and what you can do to make it a bit easier for yourself. So, as you can see and hear from my playing, there are a lot of repeated notes which come in a pattern of 2 notes in the left hand, 2 notes in the right hand, and I'm just going to adjust slightly the angle for people watching me on Instagram so you can hear it better. So If you're going to read those notes one after another, which initially of course you will have to read what the actual note is, but if you're going to do this every time, reading one, second, third and fourth note, then that's going to be a lot of work for your brain. As you may know, our minds are really wonderful, play really wonderful tricks with all the things that you can do and remember and put in your brain. And I'm going to give you a very quick example. It's much easier for our brain to remember numbers, series of numbers who have a certain patterns. For example, it would be much easier for you to remember, for example, 6 numbers going 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6, rather than a random set of 6 numbers which are all different and have no relation to another. But if you're going to remember that you've got a double of 2, and then each next one is increasing by 2, so we've got double 2, double 4, double 6, then it's much easier for you to remember that pattern and much quicker to remember what's in there, what numbers are in there, than a random set of 6 notes. So we're going to use that while working on this piece today, and the first exercise that you will find in the PDF for today's lesson, I forgot to say that for each of those live harp lessons you can download a PDF with exercises on the week's topic. You will find them in the subscribers area if you are already subscribed to my newsletter. If you haven't subscribed already, you will find the link either on in the description of this lesson if you're watching it on Facebook, or in case of Instagram, you follow the link in my bio and you can subscribe through there and get access not only to this lesson but all the other lessons, and we had already 37 of them with 30 PDFs for different lessons. So the first exercise in today's PDF, after looking at an excerpt of the music from that piece showing you what those patterns look like, we're going to look at each hand separately. So we'll start with the left hand, and here I'm picking for you a bar which can pose quite a lot of difficulties. This is later in the piece, second line, and let me tell you which bar. It's second and third bar in second line, which is usually quite a tricky place. So what we're going to do, instead of playing left hand F, D, as written in the music, we're going to play it as chords, placing back really quickly, and then moving really quickly to the next chords, and to the next 2 groups that we will play as a chord. And while doing this, we're going to ask ourselves a few questions. You will find the list of those questions in the PDF. First question is, are any of my fingers staying on the same string while moving to the next group? So third finger, no, it will move to the E flat, and thumb, no, unfortunately, it will also move. Okay, so we cannot hang on to that thought of them staying in the same place, but we can tell ourselves that both of them will be moving down, both third finger will go down and thumb will go down from F, D to E flat, B flat, and also we can tell them by how many steps they are moving down. Third finger will move a step down, thumb will move 2 steps down, and that will mean that the interval between the fingers becomes smaller. We had an interval of 6 before, and now because thumb goes 2 steps further down, we're going to decrease that interval to an interval of fifth, which is also useful, the knowledge how your fingers need to adjust. Do they need to go further away or do they need to get closer? And then we're going to look at what the right hand is doing in that same time. So right hand is playing A, B flat, and then from A, B flat it's going to move to G, C and G, B flat. So let's play that again as chords. We have A, B, G, C, G, B. So what happens with our fingers? When we're changing from A, B to G, C, none of them stay on the same notes. We have our second finger moving 1 down and our thumb moving 1 up. So a useful thought you can think about here is your fingers are going away from each other by the same distance. The interval is increasing. And then from GC to GB, your second finger stays on the same string, your thumb moves 1 down. The interval is decreasing, but you can hang on to the second finger staying on the same string. So that was exercise number 1 when you're looking at that with hands separated, and I recommend that you look at maximum 2 bars at a time to be really thorough with discovering the connections and the relations between the patterns. Then let's move on to exercise number 2. I'll move to the next page in our PDF. Then we're going to put them together and still play both hands as chords. So we're going to have, following the same excerpt, we're going to have left hand playing F, D, right hand A, B, repeating the same, and then left hand moving down, right hand moving to the next chord, right hand thumb moving one down. Okay? And that exercise is going to be super effective if you make sure that you place your fingers always in advance. So start with both hands on at the same time. Even if the right hand is playing later, you're going to have it on, prepared for that first chord. Play left hand chord and place it back immediately. Placed back. Then you know you're repeating the same chord, but as soon as after you play that second chord, you're going to move your left hand to the next chord, so you can already look at the strings you will be going. So you're going to go to E and B flat, you moved yourself to those strings. Same for the right hand, you play the chord and you're already looking where you're going, to G and C. And then carry on, left hand repeats, goes back, right hand repeats, not exactly the same chord, but moving down one step for B. And you carry on the same way, always trying to look ahead for whichever notes are coming later, for whatever pattern changes you practice in that first exercise, hands separately. The next step will be putting hands together again, but this time we're going to play 4 notes at the same time. So from playing crotchets like that, we're going to be moving to playing minims both at the same time, which is a bit trickier because you will have to move 4 fingers at the same time to the next chord. But you know them already really well, the changes that are happening. So you're going to go from the last in that bar, moving to the first group in the next bar. Okay? So you're remembering my third finger in the left hand is going 1 down, thumb is going 2 down, left hand is going all down, and right hand fingers going away from each other. Yeah? And then you make it all a lot easier on your brain, a lot easier on your fingers. The exercise that you put your fingers through prepares them to be really alert and ready to always place ahead and get on to the next strings. One last thing about today's lesson is keep looking at the music, because with a piece like that, when you look at an excerpt from the PDF and you will see that this particular pattern repeats over 3 lines of the piece, you will realize that it might be quite tricky to follow where you are in the music if everything looks graphically very similar. So start with looking back at the music every 2 notes, so looking before you play the left hand, then looking again before you play the right hand. Once you get used to that, try looking back every 4 notes, and after a while you might notice that you've memorized quite a lot of that piece. And this can be a dangerous moment if you're not very clear about what you've memorized already and what you haven't, because then you will find yourself playing whatever your fingers already know, and when you can't remember what was the next beat, you will not know where you were in the music. So make sure to keep looking back, and if you memorized certain passages, make sure that you know where your memory has come to a stop, and mentally make a note where on the page is that. You can use colorful stickers and, for example, say I've memorized that piece until the end of the first line, so put a colorful sticker at the beginning of the second line so you know where to bring your eyes when your memory needs a helper. Okay, that was everything from today's lesson, and I can see that you've put some comments. I'm really sorry I'm not used anymore to looking at them in a different place. I can see them on Instagram but not on Facebook. Hello Leonardo, and thank you very much for your nice message. Have a nice day too. Hello Cecilia, hello Kazaya, and hello Gosia. Thank you very much for coming. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any suggestions for future lessons. I'm always keen to put them on my list. I've heard already some great ideas from you. Some of them are quite big topics like fingerings or releasing the tension while you play, but I'm going to try and design a series on each of those particular topics, so you can have a small manageable portion in each lesson working on to work on that topic. I need a tiny bit of time to just make sure that it's the best possible portion of knowledge for you. So let me know how you like today's lesson. Please subscribe and hear from from me on my newsletter about any future topics that will be in the future lessons. It's very helpful for me to hear that you liked my lessons, that you would like to hear more. It gives me motivation to carry on working on them. If you know someone who wants to learn to play the harp, please forward those lessons to them. I hope they will be useful. They are and always will be free. And I think that's everything. Thank you very much for tuning in. Have a lovely end of the week, and I'll see you next week. Bye!